Stuart, are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Good evening and welcome to this episode of Talking to Town podcast. Tonight we're going to be talking about online trolling and bullying because it's obviously such a big issue and it's affected all of us, and we did name the podcast Talking to Town because we've all at some point been the Talking to Town. So tonight we're going to discuss how that has affected each of us and how our followers, because we put polls and question boxes out to all our followers and stuff that's in the media as well. So we're going to talk about that this evening, and I just want to start with today, literally before I came out tonight, a story come up about a little boy in Finglas. I'm not going to say his name, 12-year-old boy that has committed suicide due to online TikTok bullying. And I know, like, we've all heard stories like that before, but I suppose it just hits you when, especially when it's a kid, you know, they feel obviously there's no way out.
That's horrific.
Yeah.
You know,
Like there's literally no words.
no, there's not, and like even now I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about
Was
it.
that just today?
Just literally before I came out, I read it, and I just thought, you know, that we obviously have decided we were already talking about this tonight, and I saw that and his pictures up on social media, and I just thought, you know, it's one of those things, I think, that those people that were involved in that will either not take any responsibility and think, well, I didn't do it, it wasn't that bad, or will absolutely be devastated that that boy has gone through with such a horrendous
Yeah, I think
for
it's something
himself.
that will follow them for life, because at the end of the day, you all have to lie down at night in a dark room going to sleep and think of that, like.
And see, I think that's the thing, when people are putting these comments up on social media, especially because social media makes it just so easy to hide behind something, but when they're putting that stuff up, they're really not getting how that other person's taking it, or whether that other person has mental health difficulties as it is. And, you know, I know, like, we'd all kind of have gone through this and been a victim of it and being hurt by it, but we've all at times said, well, you know, fuck them, you know, but that's not always easy for you.
No, and sometimes it's just, fuck them, it's just words, you don't actually mean it, you still feel.
Yeah, and regardless of whether you're an adult or a child, sometimes it's just not as easy as that. And even before I came out then as well, I was looking up a woman that I do follow, Jackie Fox. I'm sure you've heard of her.
I was just going to bring her up.
Yeah, because like her daughter was Nicole Fox, they called her Coco, and she was like severely bullied online. And the reason I'm saying her name is because obviously it's been everywhere, and because of Jackie's relentless work after, unfortunately, Nicole took her life, I think she was 19, her mum fought and she got Coco's Law brought in, which is, you know, to
hold people
accountable for online harassment. And I remember even watching, you know, a short documentary that was online about what that girl went through, what her mum witnessed her go through, and, you know, she was a gorgeous looking girl and she had so much over, and I think a lot of it did stem from jealousy as well. But you have to take accountability for your words and your actions, and like that girl always comes into my head because I follow Jackie on Instagram, and she now goes into schools and she's trying to educate young people on the whole online thing, and you know, thinking about what you say and, you know, what you put online, but unfortunately sometimes it's too late, people go too far. You know?
And that woman shouldn't have to be going into schools and shouldn't have to be bringing light to these things.
Imagine how hard it would be for her going into schools and talking
well, look
about
how amazing that is, that she's taken such a negative thing.
She has. Because I genuinely do look at her and just think that woman is so brave and amazing. And she's
to have that strength to do that.
And her daughter obviously would be so proud of her because of what she's.
And how old was her daughter?
I think she was 19 when she took her own life. But horrendous.
And that's the thing, it's like when we were kids, it was kind of bullies would be in school
Yeah.
Or on the road or whatever. But then now the way it is, like you can't escape it. You go to your room and they're on your phone or they're on your laptop.
That's it. Yeah,
So
when we were
that's the
growing up,
scary
that was
thing.
the thing. Yeah, you went home and the bullies were gone.
You got away from them for a while.
And they're
It's
not always on their
relentless,
own profile. Sometimes they're hidden behind a fake profile, so
Yeah.
you don't even know who it is. And it just, I think, because all of us are mothers as well, it makes it even harder to know that, you know, you don't know
You
what
can't
other kids
protect
would be
your
doing.
children.
Like I can say, if I ever caught an idiot bullying anyone online or doing anything like that, I'd absolutely kill her in a non-violent way.
Yeah.
But I'd annihilate her, like, you know, it's horrible. And even on that, actually, her school contacted me a while ago. She was at Tournament Town, I think, but they contacted me to say that she had written out a little note of her and another girl had written a note of people in the class and they were like rating them, and it was because they were actually watching the Mean Girls movie.
Yeah.
So they were doing that, and the teacher rang me and I was so annoyed and upset. Now Leah told me before the teacher did, she knew she was dead. But I made her write a letter to the teacher naming every one of those kids and something positive about them, and the teacher said to me, like, you know, thanks so much for how you're dealing with it, but the impression I got was that the other parent wasn't so reciprocative about it or whatever the word is. And then on the other hand, I was saying to you girls that Leah was only in about first class and the teacher called me aside to tell me that she was being bullied. Leah didn't even realise she was being bullied, but the teacher was making me aware of it, that she was dealing with the kids' parents. And I just thought, that's what you need. You need schools that are proactive, that are on it. They're not saying to you, oh, it's nothing to do with school, it's nothing to do with us, you deal with that on your own, because that's also a massive issue. And I know in my family that was a massive issue when a school wasn't supporting
absolutely.
a family member.
And well, I know with me personally, one of the points where I was bullied in primary school, they, rather than kind of, oh, it's not your problem, it was like, my mum went up fuming, and I was like, oh, look, no problem, we'll deal with it. And then I don't know what the thought process was behind it, but they brought me up, the teacher brought me up in front of the class and the two girls in front of the class, and were like, okay, now you need to apologise to Kira for the things that you said. Now you tell the other girls what you said to Kira and what you said about Kira, and you apologise to her for saying that. So then not only it made it worse, because not only then was I mortified and hurt by what had been said and been done, everybody in the class then knew. And then she thought, right, to make this even more comfortable for Kira, I'm going to sit the two girls either side of her so they can be friends.
Oh
my what?
God.
And that's too much pressure for kids, especially that can't process that sort of stuff.
And what that then meant was they would then slag me lunch. So as a result, from like second class, I did not eat at lunch in school. So I'd get me lunch, my mad send me lunch in with me, and I'd dump it in the bin before I went home so she wouldn't know that I wasn't eating my lunch, because my bollocks was I opening my lunchbox of one of these little tricks. Do you know, like, so even that,
it's mad.
for a child to have to do that,
I know.
especially a fat child, like, I liked my food.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that alone was torture. But no, like, and that's when I think of it now, as I can laugh about it, but Jesus Christ, like, if I thought that one of my kids was going through that, and like me making them a lunch and then being petrified to open the lunchbox, that they were going to be crucified, like, oh my God.
And then the other thing is, you find out your child has been bullied, and they're like, no, don't do that, don't say anything, don't, because you've gone through that.
As well. And I was like, that's it, I'm going up to that school, and she's like, no man, please, it'll make it worse.
It will draw attention.
She was right, though.
And you're caught, because
it definitely would have. Like, to
so
the
it's
point
very,
that they
very hard.
chased her from school, like, girls, like, I couldn't believe it.
But that's it, it's very hard to know what to do. Like, the way I was brought up was real, okay, look, go in and we talk about it and we deal with it in that way. And Darren would say to me, no, just hand you a bar, no, I don't mean literally, but like, hand you a bleeding stick and bait them. If they come near you, bait them with the stick, kind of approach. And I was like, oh no, you can't use violence. But what I mean, my family, we used talking, and what good did that do? Again, I'm not condoning violence, I'm saying violence works, but it's very, very hard to know what the right approach is.
It's hard.
Well, my Jamie is only 7, but when he is 10 and upwards, from when he is 10, I will tell him that if anybody speaks badly to you, you turn away and you keep walking. Anybody puts their hands on you, you hit them straight in the teeth.
Yeah, and
Straight
never
in the
be
mouth.
forced to hit
That's
them.
it.
Like never,
Punching them out,
never
and
be
they
a
won't
person.
do that again.
Yeah.
And no, I wouldn't obviously.
And
at
see,
7
my
years old.
concern
Yeah.
though now is it's completely a different time.
Yeah,
Like years ago, kids fought with fists. Now they some of them
Yeah.
carry knives, and
yeah,
that would be my fear
Yeah.
of saying to Aaliyah, you
Yeah.
know, hit her straight, and the next day the young one brings in a knife or a gun plate. Like,
yeah,
You don't
that's
know
my
it.
fear is that you don't know.
yeah.
Like we can own. I don't even think we ever fully know our own kids.
No,
Do you know what I mean? Because we
No.
all remember our own kids. Like,
Yeah.
so that's also my fear is like really it's such a catch-22 that you really don't know exactly what is the right thing
Yeah.
to do because you only know most of your own child or
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Do you know?
yeah,
And you also don't know the other kid, like you don't know who
Yeah,
you're dealing with or what
that's
you're
it.
dealing with. Like for example, there could be a child who they could be a bully, and you might think, oh, they're rough and or
Yeah.
whatever, and it could be a case that they might be having issues at home or they've been bullied and
I
that's
was
just their
gonna
way.
say that, yeah.
And it might just like some kids, you might just be able to go to them and say, don't you ever speak to my child like that again, and they might go, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't realise what I was doing. Or it could be the other way, and they could be,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, totally different.
Well,
type
I
of
remember
person.
as well years ago, another parent made me aware of some things that had been said about a couple of the kids, including Aaliyah, and we were in the yard and we were talking to all the little girls and we were saying, you know, everybody just get on. And but the girl who was saying these mean things, his mum came around the corner and she was like, no, you don't have to be friends with anyone you don't want to be. And the girls were only about 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like, I would think logically as a mother and a parent, or just
Everybody
a
has to
person,
play together.
to say everybody just be kind to each other, and
Yeah.
that's how I try to bring Aaliyah up. But
Yeah,
you had this woman coming inside swiping you and being like, no, you don't have to like anybody, you don't have to talk to anybody you don't like. And but there's also, let's be honest, there is the kids that come from not nice backgrounds that will go home and you'll knock on the door and you'll say your kid is bullying my kid, and they'll be like, so fucking what?
yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Get away from the door.
Get the fuck away from the door. And that's the mentality then that children have.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
know,
so how could the child know any different?
yeah, like so. And then look, you also have kids that are just little shits.
Yeah.
You do. They have been brought up well, and I know them. Like we
Yeah.
all know them, and that are just little shitbags.
Yeah.
Do you
And
know
like
what I
that, if their parents knew they'd die,
Yeah.
they'd be, you know what I mean, it'd kill them to think that their
Yeah,
child
they'd
Oh, I'd be
could be
devastated if I
yeah,
thought
capable
that
of
when
being
he gets
that
bullied,
way,
yeah.
but you just don't know. Like.
Absolutely.
And again, we're saying kids, bringing it up to now,
mean? Yeah.
we've also all gone through situations where fully grown adults
Yeah.
are as bad online or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So I mean,
100%.
we're saying kids can be cruel, so can fucking adults.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I asked on my poll on my page, have you been trolled by anybody? 47% said yes. But in the case of their children, have your children been bullied? 54% yes.
And
That
that's,
shocked me,
yeah.
54%. That was a lot.
that's 54% too much.
And that's like you say, there would be kids being bullied that the parents don't even know yet.
Yeah.
So you can probably
Because
add on
I
there.
would never known that until that teacher pulled me aside, because Aaliyah wasn't aware of it. He
Yeah.
was telling me.
Yeah. Or and like what
Do you
if Leah's table was a bit further away from the teacher and the teacher didn't copy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like
Yeah.
it's scary to think, and like Laura knows that Aaliyah went through an issue at the end of last year on the road, so it wasn't even online, and she doesn't go out and play now. Like she's 10, she will not go out and play. She won't try even to form
Yeah.
friendships or relationships, and like it's really heartbreaking to look at her and be like, that's because I'm so outgoing and
Yeah.
you know, I'm always with people, and
Yeah.
like Aaliyah is with me and then around adults and my friends' kids,
Yeah.
because she's like, no, I'm not knocking down that door to ask them to come out. She won't even put herself in that position,
Yeah.
you know. And if you see her online or if you meet her in person, you think, oh, she's
It's real bubbly.
really
Yeah.
loud and
Yeah.
outgoing, but like it's affected her so much, and
Yeah.
she's been so hurt by it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just horrible.
Yeah.
And like I suppose as a parent, all you can do is keep talking to them, and
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah, you just have to
No.
keep an eye, that's all you can do. And you can nearly read the kids, I think, you know, if you, I kind of do it in a roundabout way, you know, when Jamie's coming home from school, say, because Jamie would never come home and say such and such was bullying me or whatever.
yeah,
So I'd kind of be saying to him, and who are you sitting with today? And who are you playing with today? You know what I mean? And just, if something comes up, like I just pray that it doesn't come up, but if something comes up, I try to kind of have a school conversation. Like I know with every kid you say to them, what are you doing in school? I say, don't know, can't remember, nothing. You know, but I just try and be like, and who are you playing with? And like, does he have any brothers and sisters? You know what I mean? Just to see kind of
what's going on.
What their situation is.
When Jake was in senior infants, Jake wears glasses since he was like 11 months old.
Yeah, so it's Jake.
But I always buy him 2 pairs of glasses, because if Jake falls, he would put his hands by his side and skid on his face. Like, it's like he does it because he knows, do you know what? Mommy will just buy me new glasses.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he just skid on his face. So his glasses to be, I swear to God, like
mangles.
Oh man. So I always have to buy spare glasses. So we went in, got him his little glasses, and I was like, right, you pick what glasses your second pair. So he picked these roundy glasses. They were real funky, they were gorgeous, and his favourite colour at that time, this week is green, but at the time, that week, his favourite colour was red. So he got glasses, and they were like dark navy with red on the inside, and they were deadly. So he wore his new glasses, same Monday he wore his new glasses into school that we had gotten, and his teacher loved, oh my God, Jake, making a big deal, we got new glasses and whatever. The next day he's like, Mommy, I want to wear me roundy glasses to show my teacher tomorrow, because like they were his favourite ones. So I was like, yeah, no problem. So he wore them in the next day, and I'm waiting to collect him, and he's standing beside the teacher. Now Jake is very, very quiet, painfully quiet sometimes. He's grand with us, but you know, out our circles he would be very quiet. I was exactly the same as a kid. Anyway, I still am, as you can see. But so the teacher comes out and he's kind of standing beside her, so I was like, what's going on here? So she's like, sorry, can I talk to you for a minute? And you know, that's never gonna go well when they say that. You're like, oh my God, like either, oh my God, what's wrong with him, or oh my God, what did he do? So I went up and she was like, Jake had a little bit of trouble today in school. I was like, right. And she said he was in the bathroom, and 2 of the boys ganged up on him, and they were slagging him, saying his glasses were stupid, and they were Harry Potter glasses.
What?
The child was heartbroken. Heartbroken. So
his favourite ones, like
his favourite glasses. So I was like, oh. So, and you could see kind of looking at me like big puppy dog eyes. I was like, ah. And they were even bigger because he was wearing glasses.
You just want to protect them.
Yeah. So I was like, thanks for letting me know, whatever. And it was only that. And the teacher doesn't bring them to they kind of go in groups to the toilet, because they're big boys now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But because once they were our junior infants, they could kind of teachers say, okay, 3 go to the toilet, whatever. But obviously the boys he went with weren't nice to him. So he came out and whatever. Now, in fairness to the fair play to the teacher, she noticed that he was upset and asked him what was going on and asked him what was wrong. And again, the same boys were on his group, and it was kind of, don't give Jake the colours.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. So
it's horrible.
yeah, so I was devastated, because I knew how much he loved his little glasses, and I was like, Jake, Harry Potter is so cool. Yeah. Like that's a compliment. And he was like,
they was jealous.
And then he was like, but Mommy, they weren't he knew at the age of like 5.5, they weren't complimenting me. Yeah. So I was like, oh. So the next day we got up, and he has his little glasses beside his bed, and he picks the original, the Monday glasses kind of thing. And I was like, why don't you wear no, I don't want to wear them anymore. Yeah. And I was like, but you can don't feel like don't not wear them because of them, don't mind them. And he was like, still that child hasn't put them glasses back on.
I was going to say, has he bought them since? No,
wouldn't do it. And even one of the days, in fact, that he did skid on his face, he was like, and where's my old glasses? And I was like, no, wear them ones while we're getting the other ones fixed. And it feels fine. Like they weren't even the right prescription in the old glasses.
And you wore them anyway.
Would not wear.
But like that's so sad. That's just stuck with him now.
Yeah. And now we were actually down last week because they've changed his prescription, and we were down picking up new glasses last week, and the girl was we were trying on a few different pairs, and the girl tried on a rounded pair of glasses. They were deadly, and she was like, oh my God, because she's like, he just has the face to pull them off, and he kind of looked at me, and I was kind of saying, yeah, I like them ones, but maybe not, like, and she's kind of, and she put it back, and I was kind of, he had a bit of an issue with it. I was trying to kind of say it without him realizing.
The thing is, when they're so young, they don't even really care what the adults think. They care what their peers think.
Yeah.
Like Jamie got his new glasses a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
Like he looks so cute.
So cute.
But everyone can tell him that.
Yeah.
But I'd say if kids started saying to him, that's what he believes.
That's what matters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I don't know actually. I must speak to him because he was mad about his glasses, his Spider-Man glasses, right? So he got glasses last year, and the prescription was wrong on them, and so he started like blinking really hard, like, and to the point that he was like his whole jaw was going back, like.
Yeah.
So I brought him to the opticians. I brought him back to the ophthalmologist, and they checked him again. They said like that's completely wrong prescription he was given, like. So even one of them was like way stronger than the other one. So it was really bad. So they did it anyway. They gave him a new prescription. Went and brought him down to Specsavers, and he says, I want Spider-Man glasses. I was like, great, no problem. Got the Spider-Man glasses, had them all sorted, and he wore them to school like for say 4 days in a row. And now he won't, and only now you're saying that he won't wear them. He hasn't worn them since. And doesn't he keep taking them off? And I'd be saying to Jamie, no, you have to wear your glasses. Oh, I'll wear them for a few minutes. And he put them on for a few minutes in the house. But he won't bring them to school.
Well then, yeah, maybe question that.
Yeah, I might have to
And I
question
mean, there could be
that.
nothing behind it. It could just be.
He might
Because I
be just-
remember I
yeah.
was a prick when I was a kid for my glasses.
So
Yeah.
I had
literally-
corporal looking pink,
I used to always
operation looking
break
glasses.
them.
Deirdre
I'd be like,
Barlow
Oh,
once.
swear to God,
Yeah.
it's hacking me when I think
But
about
that's, I used to be, I hate them so much. And then my mum would come home from work and my glasses be snapped in half, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
they fell
Yeah.
off my face. I hated them. But I mean,
it.
really,
Kids now have so many options.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
that's what you got.
yeah,
Yeah.
whereas I just hate them. Like I hated them, and like that, my mad spend extra to get the nice glasses, but I just
Yeah.
hated them. But I mean, like I was visually impaired. Like I needed them. I
Yeah.
still
Yeah,
do. I'm
I
sitting
know,
here
yeah.
without them on my face now,
Yeah.
as you can see. They're in the car. They're no good in the
So
car.
you can put them
I'm
out
not
as
putting
cool
them
as
on
they
our
look.
camera.
I know.
Your glasses are actually really cool on you.
I do
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my glasses. I keep forgetting to put them on my face.
Yeah.
That's my problem. And when I was down there with Jake, I was saying he was reading the letters. When he gets like the second last
Yeah,
line, and I'm sitting right beside it, and I says to Darren, I was like, I can't even see that third line.
Yeah.
And your woman's like, come over here to me, sit on that chair, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get in so much
Yeah.
trouble. So I sat on the chair, and she was like, read them lines out to me, and I read down kind of like 2 lines with the big huge letters, and I couldn't
Yeah.
see anything after that. And she says, do you drive? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, I wouldn't get in the car with you. I was like, oh.
Oh.
Yeah, so she says to Darren, make sure she wears her glasses. She says, no, all you're doing, and it was a good way of putting it, she says to me, all you're doing is costing yourself money on Botox, because she's like, I guarantee you you're always squinting, are you? And I was like, no. And I was squinting myself.
Good, Deirdre. No way, I'm going to wear my glasses all the time.
Yeah, I didn't think of that now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I have to because I can't see without them. I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. No matter can I just stick to the basic places that I know. I go to the school or the shop, and I know those, so I can kind of guess my way without having to see.
Guess them areas, yeah.
I need to wear glasses.
So is it the case that then, I suppose, the older you get, wear your glasses all the time, you're going to get younger?
That's
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a good way of.
I think I'm going to get younger looking when my kids get older because I'll stop frowning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
Oh,
won't have
yeah.
a reason to, because
Yeah.
you have your face. Yeah.
Yeah, don't be lying. That's a great one. But come here, yeah, on have you been trolled, right? The 47% that said yes. I had never asked this question, but one got back and said she hadn't been trolled. This is bad. She hadn't been trolled, but had intimate pictures shared without her permission.
Yeah, that's a huge thing as well.
That is massive.
Like an
Yeah.
ex or something.
Must have
Oh,
been.
there must have been.
It must have been.
Jesus.
What would you do like?
Yeah.
Like that,
I
that's
don't know
out
how
there
he's-
for the world to see. Like,
Yeah.
I thank God that in my kind of teens and 20s, there was no camera
Yeah.
phones,
Yeah.
no Instagram. Like, you had Bebo, but
Yeah.
you couldn't even put a video on that.
Well,
like, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
when you think about it, we were all at an age where we were stupid and probably would have
Very
done stuff like that.
stupid.
Like,
Very
without,
stupid.
you know, like, say you with Darren, you're in a long-term committed
You might
relationship, you
trust
might,
somebody.
it's, oh yeah, I will, and then
Yeah.
you just don't know, like,
Yeah.
and like that is such a fear for me.
That's-
Not
yeah.
that I haven't said stuff like that, but I mean a fear because I have a daughter as well.
Yeah.
Just even with friends, I'm always, you know, oh no, be careful what you
Or
say.
even down to, like you're saying, you could
Because
be
it's
in a
up on you.
relationship.
in the clouds,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
there.
That's there, yeah.
It's up there. in the
But
clouds.
even though
It
to
could
be
be someone you were married to.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Or like you might even not send an at oh, even thoughts of that makes me feel sick. Like there's no way I would ever consider that. But what if somebody took a picture, like if you were in a
Yeah.
relationship and they took a picture
Yeah.
of you thought nothing of it, and then something, you know what I mean, you
Yeah.
might break up.
But you
and
do
then-
hear
Yeah.
stories like that of people that have like being recorded, like having sex and stuff without their knowledge,
Yeah.
because
yeah, you could be oblivious to it.
he
Yeah.
or she has set up the camera, and
Yeah.
like it is frightening. And the
Yeah.
thing is, like, you could be in like with somebody 20 years and break up with them because you're not happy, or or one cheated or whatever, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden then there's this revenge
Revenge porn.
Yeah.
shit on the internet, and it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
It's
tell you what,
there.
if it made me Kim Kardashian, I'd take it.
Yeah,
Harry.
well,
But
and
yeah,
I'm
there
glad
are-
she's at a
there's
stage
always
now where she
exceptions.
laughs at it, because
Exactly.
I watched the latest episode today, and she was saying something about her producer seeing her vagina, and the producer's like, no, I haven't. She goes, "Well,
Don't tell me.
no, but all she said again was, oh, well, you can go on the internet anyway. And she kind of laughed, and I actually looked at her going, I'm actually so glad,
Fair
because
play to
I
her.
watched
She
her
laughed,
cry
yeah.
so much about that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that she's in a place, but not everybody is as lucky as her, or
No.
obviously becomes famous
No.
from
Yeah. It
that
has
sort of
such a
stuff.
nice vagina.
Or,
Yeah.
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 But
The
yeah.
internet is a mad place. Like when
Oh, it's
I
mad.
say, for example, when I got my sleeve done, and I had, now this is years ago, so it was probably on like 7 or 8 years ago. Every single morning, I was getting DMs. Remember, like you get dick pics sent to you
Yeah.
all the time. I was getting boob pictures sent to me because people just presumed because I had a sleeve that I was a lesbian. Every single morning, I was getting boob pictures.
But like, if you had been the type
Believe
of
it.
person that would just share them and be like, even the fact that people put themselves in that situation, that they
Yeah.
send that stuff
Yeah,
to
like,
strangers, whatever about
I remember
partners.
going like, what?
What do you like? What
It
does it
didn't
be
bother
like?
me that
Morning
they thought I was a
sunshine, here's
lesbian,
the
but I'd
tits.
be like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't in a million years take a
No.
picture of my boobs and
No.
send them to a stranger.
Absolutely.
Man,
not.
woman, or whatever. Do you know,
Like, what do they caption with this? What do they say?
nothing. Just send a picture of their boobs, like.
Now again, I would still be everybody to their own. If that's what you want
Ah,
to do.
yeah, but
Joe
keep that
Biden,
to yourself. I don't see
but
that
be
in DMs. I
mindful.
don't want to see that.
Be mindful that stuff is there forever.
Yeah.
And that person you'll send that can
Like
just
imagine
share
I
that.
shared,
Yeah.
imagine I screenshot that
And
shared
said,
it
look
and
what I'm
said,
getting,
"Here it
or-
is."
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I
And
wouldn't
then
do
you
that.
can end up in trouble for actually
Yeah.
sharing it.
Yeah,
Do you know?
absolutely. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, no, the internet is a mad, scary place.
It
Like,
really
can
is.
be used for so much good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's so much toxic shit with it as well.
Yeah.
You know.
100%.
And have you been bullied? 64%. I got
Yeah.
said yes.
And that's horrible, isn't
That
it?
is horrible.
And social media, does social media make it easier for bullying? 94%.
Yes,
said
I
yes,
would
but that's
agree
a
with that.
no-brainer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was expecting that 100%. I don't know. It's absolutely crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in school, my nan and dad insisted on sending me to a school in Leicester, and I hated it because my granny lived down there.
Yeah.
And I hated the school because they were all posher than me because I came from Darndale. I remember like the nun, she was
Quite
just a
posh,
horrible
though.
woman. Me? I'm
Yeah.
posh.
Yeah.
And like what?
But I remember the nun like would stop me on the corner and be like, repeat Coolock after me, and make me say it because she'd have heard me say Coolock,
Yeah.
and she didn't like the way I said it. But there was one particular girl that I just couldn't stand in the class. She was just horrible, and she was really snobby, and she used to take me outside and say, you smell, and like horrible things. And a few years ago, I was knocking door to door because I was doing the Ashbourne Against Water Chargers campaign, and I was knocking on the door and in Ashbourne, and she opened the door.
Oh no.
But I remember looking at her, and she was like stressed out to the max, and her kids were screaming, and like her house looked messy, and like I wasn't judging her, but I remember thinking, you are not that big, much bigger than me.
Yeah.
You're not any bigger person than me.
Yeah.
But I remember how I felt in school. Like I remember going home and wanting to kill myself.
Yeah.
Like I hated going to school because of that one person.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, how much it can affect you, and it
Yeah.
turns out she's the same. Our house is
Yeah.
messy like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
Like
kids are running around like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She gets up and has a piss like you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not suggesting you piss, but you know what I mean.
That was
Something
another
like this.
thing was last week on the question boxes I put up what was the worst comment you've ever gotten online, and there was a girl absolutely devastated, had been told to go and kill herself.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like what the
And I've seen that. a few
what's wrong
times.
with people like that?
How sick do you have to
How
be to
does
actually
that-
sit there and go,
Yeah.
I don't tell that person to kill
Yeah.
themselves. And all it takes is that one person in the wrong frame of mind
Yeah.
to go, do you know what? I'm fucking everything's
Yeah,
hopeless. I'm
like-
nothing, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do it.
You don't know what's
You know.
what's going on with a person
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
day. It could be in the middle of a breakdown
Yeah.
for or
Yeah.
full of drink or something. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And they just like right.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
I
thing.
know it myself. Like I told you yesterday, like I'm not in a good headspace the last week, and when I'm like that, I don't be up on Instagram and stories, and
I mean,
I
I
go
go
back
back to
from it
bed.
completely because I don't
You
like
have
the way it all makes me feel, and
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll see, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there could be a trigger there that
Yeah,
one.
like,
yeah.
and the thing is, like, I feel confident in the fact that I would never do it to myself. Like, I
Yeah.
know you can never say never, but I feel confident in the fact that I'd never do it, and I have my daughter, I have things to live for.
That's
But
it,
when you
Liam,
feel
isn't it?
really low, like I've had nights in the last week where I've literally cried myself to sleep, just, and I can't pinpoint what it even is. But in that moment, for me to look at my phone, somebody have said, "Go
Yeah.
kill yourself."
Yeah,
Do you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how that.
that
What way
would,
that
yeah,
would
would knock
be,
the
you
shit
know?
out of you.
Like
Yeah,
it's
would.
horrible.
Yeah, it absolutely would knock the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause
I
you
think-
don't know what's going on.
Exactly, and I think that's the thing with social media and the internet. It can kind of, people are totally desensitized.
Yeah.
You know, because I wouldn't, like, in an argument, say we had killings now, you would never say to me,
Never.
go and kill yourself.
Yeah.
But behind a screen, you might be pissed off enough and
Yeah.
say, and I'm not suggesting you would ever say that to somebody, but I mean, that person who
Yeah.
said that to that girl
Yeah,
would never in a million years say
Yeah.
that to her face.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Keyboard
you're just,
warriors.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. And
But it's even people online commenting on your weight and stuff like that. They never pass you on the
Face your
street and
face.
shout over to you, "You're not putting on loads of weight," or
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, "You're losing too much weight." They
Yeah.
never do that.
Yeah,
But it's like they get a little sense of bravery behind
Yeah.
the keyboard, and some of that is innocent and they
Yeah.
don't genuinely aren't intended to be
Yeah.
malicious.
yeah,
But it's just being mindful because you just don't know how it's going to affect the person on the receiving end.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because you just, again, you don't know what
Yeah.
day somebody is having.
yeah. That's absolutely true. Really is. Yeah, I also asked, does people's judgments of you cross your mind before posting on social media? And 81% said yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm not surprised really at that. I thought it might have been a little bit lower, but yeah, I even would, and I post all the time.
Yeah.
What I even do, I
Yeah.
would always kind of really think about it before I post it, and especially if it's something that I'm unsure of.
Yeah.
As in, you know, I went on a bit of a rant yesterday, but before the rant, I had to really sit down and think of the implications that it might have on me. It wasn't about, well, it was about somebody, but it was about actually that young Josh Dorn's murderer
Yeah.
walking free from prison. And I went on a rant on my stories, and I don't regret it. But social media it's really good as a tool for, you know, for I suppose bringing yourself on and, you know, getting your life out there, and
Yeah.
like stories like that coming up. Do you know
And
what
it
I
can be
mean?
great
But
for charities and stuff, and
even-
raising
yeah,
awareness. Absolutely.
having done that, I nothing was gained from that. That man is still out. I got myself in a tizzy. You know what I mean? It did make other people aware of what's going on, but
But even on that,
it's hard. Yeah.
as horrible as it is, social media is a place of opinions.
Yeah.
And like yesterday when I was reading stuff to
Yeah.
do with that, some people on social media, because I saw the comments,
Yeah.
were happy with that result.
Yeah.
And agreed with that result.
Yeah.
And that's where I think you have to be careful on social media. You don't get into that
Yeah.
debate, because at the end of the day, it's still
Yeah.
just our opinion.
Yeah, it is. That's
you know,
what I mean. Yeah, you
If you
can't.
don't end
It's
up
not
arguing
hard.
with
There's only
people,
so much you can
Yeah.
say about it. The
Yeah.
verdict is done. Do you know what I mean? Whether I'm happy about it or not,
Yeah.
or his family are
and to
happy
be fair, I
about
think
it.
the majority of people are not happy about it.
No, I'm not happy about it. Absolutely no way. I'm not happy about 30 delivery drivers either,
Yeah.
beeping their horns outside the court in solidarity and cheering while these poor man's walking down the
Yeah.
road. You know,
Regardless of the ins and outs of anything, a child died.
Yeah.
child
regardless,
died, an
whether-
innocent
Yeah,
child.
but even he was, but even
And-
if he wasn't,
Yeah,
that a fucking child died.
yeah,
So
yeah.
to
There-
be,
regardless of the outcome of that court
Yeah.
case, was up to be
somebody
celebrated.
died,
No.
so nobody should.
Exactly.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been
Exactly.
celebrating anything.
Yeah,
And the other side of that as well, like I've seen a lot of shit online now about the jury. And
yeah,
God help them, because people
Yeah.
will find out who they were and
Yeah.
all that, and there's probably going to be crap to come with that as well.
yeah,
Do you know, I
Yeah.
would hate to have had to do that job and sit and
Yeah.
I'm lucky because of my job I'm exempt from jury
Yeah.
duty, but I would hate to have been part of that jury,
yeah,
you know, and then the aftermath
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
you know, as well.
yeah. I don't know, and I suppose legally you're very limited in what you can kind of say in this case, but
Yeah.
I know there's a lot that I'd like to say.
Yeah.
But like that as well, as I'm saying, like social media it's a great tool for the right reasons, but it's also horrific for
Yeah.
somebody on the receiving
Definitely,
end
yeah.
of bullying. And I put, would you report online bullying? 91% said yes. I'm happy about that.
Well, it's all
I'm
mine.
happy about that, but I'm actually quite surprised.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a lot higher than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Because even me personally, although I know the effects, like me as a 36-year-old, I'm still affected by 6-year-old Kira.
Yeah.
Like from 6-year-old Kira being bullied right through primary school.
Yeah.
I'm still affected by that. Like I still have I have flaws in my personality that are solely, I can sit down and look and assess myself, and that it's solely down to
Yeah.
the damage that was done when my personality was developing then, which I'm trying to work on at the moment actually. But even now, and I have had kind of stuff, quite a few things online, but although that has happened, I have never reported anything, and I probably wouldn't.
Have
Even
you
though
been trolled online?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think once you're out there in any way,
Yeah.
you can't. I mean, I'm sure a lot of, like, you've seen the statistics. There, a lot of people have been trolled that aren't out in the public eye or anything.
Yeah.
But I think when you are kind of putting yourself out there for that, and I think there is a lot of that kind of. It's nearly a thing of, well, you are putting yourself out there for that. So
Yeah,
it's like
people justify it.
yeah, it's like well, like if you don't want to be trolled online, or if you don't want to, don't expose yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, like my job, I'm a singer. I'm out out doing that. That doesn't justify.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to get out singing, you're going to have to accept
don't
people
be a
like
prick and troll people online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
but instead
you should put yourself out there.
Then instead it's
that
like,
blows my mind.
well, you should be an accountant in an office if you don't want to be slagged online.
Yeah, I have had that as well, and post some powerlifting videos.
Yeah.
And people be like messaging me, and they won't put it in the comments, but they private message me and say, you're already skinny enough, like, you know what I mean? And I don't even reply to them anymore.
Or saying she's just showing
if you
off.
actually followed me and listened to my story,
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I was too
Yeah.
skinny.
Yeah.
I am not, like, I'm fine now. I'm absolutely delighted with how I was. But if we go back to the very first, our pilot episodes that we did in Tracy's house, I was too skinny. And in like 3 months, I've kind of built it up to now where I'm happy with myself. I'd like to even get a little bit bigger, or I don't know, shape or whatever.
Well, I remember when you started out and you got people saying, oh, she's like, who does she think she is?
Yeah,
no, she's
showing
wearing, showing
Yeah.
off while she's doing that.
Yeah.
And like,
And I'm like, hang on a minute.
and that was women.
All true. Like secondary school, I was the one that they called two backs. Like I was anorexic. They were saying, you know, like shit like that. And you're like, no, I wasn't. Like, I was fucking starving. You know what I mean? Like, you
No,
don't
but
know
that's
my
it,
background. You don't know how I grew up. Like, actually, like, like you have to. It does. You have to have a thick skin.
Yes.
If you're gonna have any type of platform on social media, you have to be thick-skinned.
You do, and I'm not.
And you shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm not either, and I will
hard.
be like, Chris will come in some days from work at 4 o'clock, and I'll be like, I need to lie down, and he won't even question it. Like, and later on, I tell him kind of whatever it is. It might be nothing. It might be, you know, I'm just after having a shit day, but 8 out of 10 times it'll be
There's a
like, I'm
reason.
gonna tell you what fucking happened today.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
But that's the thing.
What about you? Do you got any shit online?
You know, I have, like I said before, I've had a woman message me telling me I was a shit mother because I went away.
What?
For a night. About, oh God, it was when the first lockdown ended and we booked a night to Mullingar. I was so excited because I hadn't been out and because I was cocooning as well. So I was going with people that I was around and I knew, and we were all safe, and I couldn't wait. And we hadn't even left Ashbourne, and I was putting on my stories, and a woman messaged me saying, "You're a shit mother. You should be at home with your child. Her dad doesn't even know her," or something like that. I remember being fuming, like, but you know me, I get very upset. Very quickly by things people say, and
especially
even,
when it comes to your child.
especially like
I'm questioning how
like with that person, like I did put it up on my story, and I said, like, if anyone ever messaged me something like that again, I'm gonna share their name. I'm gonna put up their name. You know, I have had comments in the last few years, but I just choose to ignore it because I know my personality. I know how much I let things get in on me. And how much that brings me down, and I just can't cope with the negativity of that. But it is very hard. Like, even when I think you're life growing up that you've obviously spoken about.
Yeah,
Like, you going into a school setting and then kids saying that shit to you
yeah,
and not knowing what's going on in your home life.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, but it is about educating our kids.
But
and
now
schools
I have to
educating them,
say,
and just educating them.
those people now, when I do see them now, it's completely different.
Yeah,
They're like, oh hey, how are you
Yeah.
getting on? And
Yeah, that
because
experience.
now they understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where back then, I wasn't telling them.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I just avoided everybody. I went to school, my head down, tunnel vision. I stuck to the 2 or 3 girls that I knew. Do you know what I mean? And I just was like, I'll just get school out of the way, and then that'll be it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I did. But thank God there was no social media then, because I don't know how I'd have managed now as a teenager,
No.
full of
No,
hormones and
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah.
upset and all. Now I don't give a rat's ass what people think about me. Sometimes things will get in on me. Most of the time I'm just like,
See, I just say that,
Nah.
but I end up really
Yeah. I'm the
caring
same.
about
I am very
I end up
lucky
getting
in the
very
way
upset.
that I bounce things off Chris. You
Yeah.
know, and I'd say to him, look at this fucker said to me, and he'd be like, oh, you know, and he's a great way of talking me around. You know
Darren's
what I
exactly
mean?
the same.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well,
Like,
see, for me that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like how many times
I
like
know
I
what you're
ring
saying.
people like a half hour after conversation on, did I upset you when I said
Yeah.
haven't I done that?
Yeah.
And
Over.
I'm
like,
like, Tracy,
like-
stop overthinking everything.
no, like what? And what I
Yeah.
do, I overanalyze everything and I end up
Yeah.
hurting myself. That's what
Yeah.
ends up
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
A question
Where
then
you think you might have
me,
said
a
something
question
out
of
of order,
friendship.
and the other person on the other
Or
side
there
is
you
like,
go.
what?
No,
Yeah.
or something maybe I was joking about and I'm like, logically I know that that person, if they're my friend or family, knows that
Yeah.
that's a joke, but I still go away and go, oh God, did
What
I
did
say
I go
more
wrong?
because
Yeah.
I love that person? Or haven't I done that?
Yeah.
Like I do it all the time.
Absolutely.
But so like when you're like that, the last thing you need is someone intentionally getting in on top of you
Oh
about
yeah.
something stupid,
Yeah.
Of course.
just to have a go at you, like that
Absolutely.
about your mother
And
and
yeah,
like
or
that.
nearly confirming some of the doubts that you already have
Yeah,
yourself.
And
or
one girl actually
insecurities.
wrote that back on the question box, and I said like, you know, how to make you feel, and they were like, I lost all confidence.
Yeah.
And like you do, and like she said, I question whether I was the problem at the end.
Yeah.
This girl went through an issue with 3 men.
Yeah.
Now she didn't go into exactly what the issue was, but it just wasn't being resolved. I had to go formal, and I'm assuming it was in a work setting because she said it went formal and it was 3 men. But like she said, like she questioned her own confidence and her own person. Was it her fault? Did
Yeah.
she bring this on? And I know as a person I'm like that. So if you're in any way weak or struggling,
Yeah.
you know, I don't mean weak. I don't believe people are weak. Because we talked about this last week, me and my friend, even about I personally hate when people say someone that killed themselves is weak or selfish. I hate when fucking people say
Yeah.
that. Because I'm like, unless you've been in a situation where you felt low enough to make that decision,
Yeah.
you have no right to make that comment. You just,
I don't think anyone makes that decision in their right mind.
100%.
No.
And I do believe as well that some people that make that decision believe for them that's the bravest decision. Do you know, I'm not saying whether that's a right decision or wrong. Obviously,
They
nobody
justify
believes
it.
that's
Yeah.
the right
They might
decision.
justify it by
Yeah.
my family be better off.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
or
And of course that's wrong.
To them,
but
the
it's
hardest thing for them to do is take their life, and that's what they end up doing,
Yeah.
and it's horrendous.
Yeah.
But like, if you're in any way mentally weakened or upset or not able to cope with day-to-day stuff, or you know, on mental health medication or not on medication when you should be, or
Yeah.
whatever it is, and then you have somebody, whether it's behind a computer or on the street or whatever, saying shit to you that really they don't need to say to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's the effects of that.
It is. Yeah.
Do you know, and
Yeah.
I think all of us, parents, people, school teachers, everyone collectively, guards, everyone, government, have to take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
And I think too many times people do that online and nothing happens. There's no accountability,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
consequence
Yeah.
to it. It's like, I know as well with the guards, a lot of the time the guards are like, oh, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a response,
Yeah.
in fairness, that the guards tend to give with stuff.
Yeah.
And I do think there should be harsher punishments for
Yeah.
people that do that
100%.
online.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know?
Especially in kids, like even if they brought in suspensions from school or something, do you know what I mean? Like even like with me, with the girls all saying, "Oh, you're anorexic" and all the rest of it, like that would have been probably just what they believed to
Yeah.
be true at the time. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like they would never have known what was going on in my house. My own dad didn't know what was going on in my house to a certain extent. Do you know what I mean? So I can't blame them. But at the time, I remember feeling that small. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like the way you felt and the way it's affected you up until now.
Yeah,
It's no consolation to you that they didn't know what was going on.
exactly.
Do you know, it's no
Exactly.
consolation, like the same with me. It's no consolation to me, like they didn't know
Yeah,
the way I was.
Yeah.
And like you were saying about sometimes you blame yourself and think, like I used to think, well, I said it 20 minutes ago.
yeah,
I was very quiet.
Yeah.
And then I think, like, so just because
So
I was
bring it
quiet,
on.
that doesn't mean I had a fucking
Yeah.
target on my head.
exactly.
So it's not good. That's not good enough.
Yeah,
Do you know
I
what I
think
mean?
as
No, it's
adults
not
now
good
we're logically able
You're
to
rationalising.
we're able to say that, and like kids are immature and they
Yeah.
do say stupid things,
Yeah.
do stupid things.
Yeah.
But again, it comes back to education, and I think, like, especially in schools, first and foremost, schools should take action and should take some accountability and should work with parents and other groups, and not straight away say, no, nothing to do with us. Oh,
Yeah.
that's happening on the way home from school. No,
Yeah,
to do with us
outside
once
the
you
gate.
outside
they
the
should
gate.
be told about kids'
Yeah.
suicides.
100%.
The schools should be.
And that's
told
why I
about
think
kids'
Jackie Fox is amazing
Yeah.
at what she's
Oh,
doing.
yeah,
Because she
you know what, I
travels.
haven't even
the
heard her
country.
name. I'm gonna have to follow her on
She's a lady. Like, I do look at her, my heart breaks, and you'll see on her page little documentaries. But she travels the country now and talks to different secondary schools about the effects of online harmful communications and stuff. And I just think she's doing
Great
a job
idea.
that somebody already should have been doing. That
Yeah.
government should have already
She shouldn't
had
have had to fight.
Yeah.
And she
This
had to
is not a
fight.
new thing.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
she
new.
had
No,
to
it's
fight so
not.
hard.
No,
'Cause
God, no.
she had to fight so hard to get Coco's Law.
Yeah,
Like she
Yeah.
shouldn't have had to fight that hard.
No.
yeah,
She shouldn't have had to fight at all.
Yeah.
It should have been there
yeah,
before that.
Well, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
think as well, again, going back to the fact we're in different times now, like growing up in Darndale, I'd say you're the same things, and probably the area you were in Swords. Where I lived, nobody had anything.
yeah,
Nobody had anything. Now things are different, and like you walk into an area like Darndale, some kids have electric scooters, and some of them are walking around in rags.
yeah,
Like it's so different now compared to what it was years ago, where you were all in the same league boat, you were all poor,
yeah,
you all had none. Now economy is completely different.
Yeah.
I know, look, we're all heading for the shitter now with the way cost of living is going.
yeah.
€95 cost me coming here to do my hair. 95,
Oh.
that used to be 48 to 50
Yeah.
euro. €95.
I need to
That's
get
crazy.
it on the way home.
But even that
That's
is
our
going to
good money.
contribute. Even that's going to contribute now
Yeah.
to, or contributes now to kids not having the better runners. And not
Yeah, because you
having,
have to say, okay, say, like you can say, well, Jake needs a pair of runners this week, but actually the mortgage had to be paid and I had to do this and I had to do, like, you have to try and
yeah.
work things
Whereas
out.
if Jake was growing up in 1980s or 90s, famous, they just didn't have the runners. Everybody had shitty runners because we were all poor.
Exactly.
Do you know, but now because there is that little competitioning, I find it even with our parties, I've said this to Laura, like, and you'd say, some of the bleeding parties are there for like communions and that, they're like weapons.
Yeah.
And the extent people are going to, and
Yeah.
it's like, then we'd do some that are just our houses because,
Yeah.
you know, obviously not
Ordinary.
because they don't have the money, but just because they're like, it's just a
That
communion
suits
or
them,
whatever,
yeah.
that's what suits. But it's that comparison as well, then everything's a competition. I
Yeah,
think that affects kids, affects adults, because I've seen adults try to keep up with each other.
yeah,
And you're like,
yeah. That's very hard.
you know, you
That'd
just
be really
can't
hard. Yeah,
live like that.
yeah,
Do you know, I've done it myself. Like,
Yeah.
I think we've all probably done
Everybody
it. at some
does
stage.
it. It's
But
human.
yeah, it's madness. But it's like, it's that shit then. Like, you go to bed at night and it's in your, like, whatever is in your head. It's like, oh, she had a better venue than I booked for my daughter. Or,
yeah.
you know.
I hate that.
And then
I
the
hate
kids,
that.
that'll
Yeah.
trickle down, the kids feed off that, or
Yeah.
like that where it's kind of like the kids might come home and say, oh, such and
Yeah.
such had a pair of Yeezys.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
And you wouldn't get them from me because you
yeah,
said you had
and then you're
them
like,
with them.
oh, I don't want
Yeah.
my child being the only one with
Yeah.
it. So
So
it's
then you're
still
putting
even
pressure on yourself,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just to please them, and
to
yeah.
conform.
because you don't want them to be bullied in school. You don't want them to be picked on because they're not.
Yeah,
Wearing what everybody
Exactly.
else is wearing.
yeah. That's very true. It is very
It is,
true.
it's
actually.
hard.
Yeah. Completely changing the subject here. But I put up a question box last week asking about mediums. Who believes in mediums? Do you believe
Well,
in
this is
mediums?
literally like
Because I'm not going to
totally
give you the
different
results.
subject altogether.
Yeah.
No, I was not
Because I changed
expecting
the
that.
subject, but I thought it was still kind
I
of only.
know.
Oh,
But I saw that there's only 10 minutes left here, so
Yeah.
We'll go to
mediums,
something like that.
do you believe? I'm not telling you the results
Right.
until.
Yeah, I am
Very
too.
good.
Now, my ma, when I grew up, start again. Growing up, my mum was like big into them, like majorly. Like every week she'd be getting readings, going to different people. Like she loves angel cards, all of that kind of thing. And so I was kind of just brought up to think, oh yeah, that's they're real and whatever. But now, and I know there are kind of a lot where it's like you walk into a room and it's like, oh, there's an old man who died who you know, and you're like, oh my god, yes, my granddad. I'm like, yeah, I was about to say your granddad. And you nearly tell them everything.
Your granddad's dead.
That's the thing, because granddads are old. So yeah, like, so I know there are people like that, or like a man is coming to me, and then you think of, oh my god, I know a man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yes.
It's like
you're amazing. I know a man.
Now I went a few months ago. I won't say the person's name, but a fairly well-known medium psychic. I don't even know what the difference is really, but anyway, talks to dead people.
Yeah.
So I went to one of them in the New Range out in Navan.
Right.
And
I'd be dead there.
Did you? Oh, so no, I had it in Point Valley actually.
Oh no, I didn't actually. Doesn't matter. Go on. It was in Navan. I had me dead in Navan. Go on.
But I went and I was really excited to go. My friend had already been to this person a few times. I was like, oh, amazing. But when I got there, I was like, this is freaking me the fuck out. Like 10 minutes in, I was crying. I wanted to leave the room. I felt uncomfortable for some people in the room. And like, at one point,
in a good way, like, was it
no,
good
no,
way,
at one point shouted across the room, like there was hundreds in the room, must be 1,000 people, shout across the room, you had a baby that died, and the girl was behind me, I was like, I'm so uncomfortable, this is not for me, I don't like this setting. And then afterwards I kept hearing, like I had put it on my stories and people were messaging me saying, oh, apparently that person puts people in the room walking around beforehand to pick up, because obviously if the three of us were sitting there waiting on her to come in, we'd be talking about who we lost. I hope she shows up for. So this is what they said. I don't know whether that's true or not true. I just wasn't buying the whole thing. I felt really uncomfortable. And in that situation, she actually said to that girl, she was talking about the baby that had passed, and she's like, you're pregnant now. You are pregnant now. She kept saying, and I was like, that girl left that show for about 10 minutes. And to this day, we all questioned, did she go out to get a pregnancy test in the middle of the show?
Probably.
But I was like, no, that freaks me out, that's not for me.
Oh, I hope she was pregnant.
Yeah, I do hope she was, but like, I don't know whether I buy it or don't, but I'd like to believe there's some way of...
Yeah. I don't know, I think with like angel cards and stuff, you're nearly like you pick out your own things.
Yeah.
The way you shuffle them, and a lot of things like maybe I don't know, like it could be a thing that nearly like a manifestation thing, like the universe brings the cards to you kind of thing. But like if you like, so because I have done sessions with people like that where you do your angel cards out and then they'll say what that means and then it might make sense to you. And that could be a total fluke.
Yeah.
Do you know
like
what I mean? But I think at the same time, I think sometimes if it brings you a bit of comfort.
Yeah. Then
what harm?
Then I was told, Lord, there's a girl I work with and she does all, her name is Donna, and she does all like weeds, angel cards and stuff. And a few weeks ago she was messaging me and she was telling me, now she's not on like Instagram or anything like that. She'd barely even really be on Facebook, to be honest, because she just wouldn't be great with it. Sorry, Donna, but she's not. But she started telling me that this podcast was going to do amazing, it was going to be like, that I wouldn't even need to work because of it, and also I am taking that shit in. I'm like, okay, Donna.
I've always believed in Donna.
Well, I think we're amazing, so I think if people don't like us, then what's wrong with us?
Well, Donna said.
Yeah, well, exactly. And Leah keeps going about anything now in her life. She's like, what does she call her? The imaginary woman said.
Yeah.
She keeps saying, like, Leah, Donna's not imaginary. She's reads angel cards.
Yeah.
She's a real human being. She's like, everything. No, but like, I couldn't die now because because the imaginary woman said I had to meet so and so before I die. Like that. No, that's not what Donna actually said. She just said that she would meet that person. Yeah. So she's like, well, I can't die before that, so I'm not worried about anything.
Well,
but she's worried when she meets that person, but Jay's going to die tomorrow.
She's not.
I will tell you now, the results were 83% said yes, they believe in mediums.
Oh, I'm actually surprised.
I'm really surprised at it, and I'm delighted. I got very lucky. I had a medium come out to me 6 months after Jamie died, so we'll say September, October of 2009. And her name is Felicity, and I can't remember her second name, but she does be in kettles. She does shows in kettles out past Hawks.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her since, but this woman is absolutely amazing. So she came to my house, right, in Coolock, and there was a picture that Nikita had, and I have to be quick because I know we're running out of time. There was a picture that was on my fridge that Nikita had, that Jamie made with Nikita, right, and it was made with like crepe paper. It was a clown face. So there's crepe paper for the hair and all the rest of it. It was held onto the fridge. When I moved from Swords to Coolock, just after Jamie died, it was a knee-jerk reaction to move. So when I moved, I put that picture on the fridge. It was held on with 4 pieces of blue tack. It was there for 6 months. Nobody went near it. It was Nikita's picture. And that woman walked into my house. First of all, before she was coming, my stepmother said to me, take off, I had a chain with his picture on it. And she said, take off the chain and just put it away, because she might be able to tell by his age that it was her brother. So just give her nothing, like no info. So I took it off and I put it on top of the fridge. So she came in, she was chatting away to me, and then with that, I turned around real fast. The picture had dropped, but it didn't fall off the fridge. 3 pieces of blue tack came loose, and the thing started spinning.
Oh,
right?
Weird.
No, I jumped. I literally jumped off the chair. I was like, oh my god! And she had been talking about me nanny at the time, and she says to me, that's not your nana, by the way, that's your brother, I'll get to him next. Well, I nearly died. So she says to me then, when she started talking about Jamie, she says to me, she said, I think he was in my car outside. She had a Range Rover and she was trying to parallel park, and she said, this boy has blonde hair. He was in my Jeep when I was parking outside, and he said to me, what do you think you're trying to park a fucking bus? Now that would be Jamie to a T. That was his line, like. So I was like, oh my god. And she says to me, he's laughing, he's saying put back on the jewellery, and I says, what? And she says, do you have jewellery belonging to him that you wear? I said, I have like his earring, and I have a bracelet belonging to him, and a ring. And she says, no, he's saying no, put it back on, it's something that you wear. You were wearing it a few minutes ago. And I went over, and sure enough, I got the chain from the fridge and showed it to her, and I said, I was told, like, put that away because you'd be able to tell. She said, no, that's him. And I also got a call from a girl, and she won't even mind me saying it, Nicole her name is, and she was one of Jamie's friends growing up. She called me from England one time. She had been to a medium, and this medium said that Jamie was coming in and wouldn't let Nicole's family in because he just wanted to say hello to her and to let her know that I was with John Paul. That he was with John Paul. Now John Paul was a friend of mine that died 3 days after Jamie, and they're buried head to head now in the graveyard. He died in Jersey, and he had to be flown home. So when he was flown home, they ended up head to head, and they're head to head now. But there's what Nicole was told, and I'll actually tell you this after air because nobody knows this. There's no way on earth that anybody could have told this girl this, because it's something that nobody knows. Only me and my dad know this, and that girl was able to tell me word for word what Jamie had said.
How do you argue with
it?
Can't argue with that. Now I've not been to another medium because she was so good.
Yeah.
Now there is one as well that I know is in Darndale called Linda Gunnery, and I got her phone number. Chris was working in Darndale, and he got the phone number from Linda's neighbour. I had been on about this woman for years, and I would love to see her because I know someone who went to see her, and she has a mirror, and apparently you can see the person in the mirror. Yeah, and a friend of mine went, and hopefully she listened to this, but she was able to fit her partner had died, right? And they said, look, stand up, you'll be able to feel him. So she stood up, and she said she could feel somebody pushing her forward from the back, and then he came around and was pushing her from the front, and she could feel it. So I always wanted to see it in the gunnery, but for some reason, I think probably the universe, I lost the phone number. I lost it, and Chris was like, maybe you just weren't meant to see her.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But no, I think there are, like I said, that lady that I'd spoken to a few times with the cards, her name's Heather Evans, she's amazing. She's an English lady, she lives here. I was actually talking to her about even the podcast a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And actually maybe...
Did she say we're going to be great?
her and Donna believe in us.
Yes.
No, I think like even down the line we could maybe bring one of them on and have a
Yeah.
chat. But
I love
I think
that.
with her there was like that. There was situations in my life and in Darren's life that were happening, and there were certain things she said to me that
She couldn't know.
it's that she couldn't know, and certain things that it was like say it was something where it was like, oh look, that'll work out, and it was a situation that in no way could ever work out in a positive way, and it did.
Yeah.
Do you know things like
Just
that?
really quickly, because I do always be fascinated by this story. A friend of mine who you do know of, I'm not going to say her name here, but her brother died during surgery in a different country with his wife. He was living there, they'd had a kid. A medium called Gabby got in touch with them through somebody else that had gone to Gabby, and she said, I need you to bring these people to me,
Yeah.
her and her man. I need you to get them to me. This went all over the papers because Gabby started writing down a letter from her brother telling them that it was murder. It was all set up. It ended up in court. She was extradited back here to Ireland. My friend had to move out of the area because of the media being constantly there. But it all turned out it was all these mediums' letters. That's what the whole story was about. That's what had brought it all to light.
Sweet
Oh my
Jesus.
God. And did they catch the person?
She was brought back, but she wasn't.
They can't be
guilty.
charged
She
as
was
well
sent-
because
she was sent back. So he basically died during surgery, and they said it was just during surgery, but it turned out that she was friends with the surgeon. There was insurance money there.
Oh my
It was like,
God.
yeah, there was a lot to it. And then when they came over here, one of the stories as well that came out in the media was it turned out the judge found out that her solicitor was her now partner. That's like mad stuff. It was all like a big
Christ.
plot. I think it was in Colombian or something like that. Yeah, but it was all over the papers.
That's a
These
fucking
both
Netflix
know.
documentary.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there has to be something in that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, some things you can't argue with.
Yeah.
We probably should have just given this its own hour.
Should
Yeah.
we?
We could continue.
I think we're gonna have to continue this one. I had zingers in it as well, but I think we're out of time.
Come on, do it really quick. Go.
We did
Yeah, really quick.
zingers. Okay.
I love the singers.
Soft roll or crispy roll?
Crispy.
Soft.
Crispy roll. I love a crispy roll, but a false teeth in the mouth.
I can't do bread now, but oh, I love soft roll.
Marmalade or jam?
Jam.
Jam.
Strawberry.
Yeah, I don't like marmalade
No.
at all.
Either do I don't get it.
Chick flick or action movie?
Chick flick.
Oh, I think action movie.
I
I
watch
love
both,
chick
but I love
flick,
a
but
chick
Chick
flick.
flick, but if it was Maverick, I'd watch Maverick.
Oh,
like
yeah.
million times over. Spa day or shopping day?
Shopping.
Spa day.
Yeah,
100%.
that's on my zingers.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good.
Could have had more. Yeah. Well, that's it then. Yeah. I'm delighted.
Another one in the bag.
Another one in the bag. So that's me, Laura, the pint-sized princess, Ciara Dignam, and the beautiful Tracy. And yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
guys.
much.
Thanks for listening.
Till next time. Cool as Stu.
She didn't take me a line again.
He's
Come
not
here,
even. Oh, yeah, he's
I might be going in August to get on stuff.
August.
I know.
Cool. Well, you were going. You were.
Yeah, because I'm after settling the case. I'm waiting on the money. But yeah, I got everything.